Hello, and welcome to myfinancesteacher.org. Let's have a look at gold today, and we'll start this video by actually looking at the US dollar. Before we continue, let me remind you guys to subscribe to the channel if you haven't, and click that bell notification. Thanks a lot. Daily US dollar index in front of you. I like to see some cycles on the charts. So we have an intermediate cycle in the US dollar lasting for the first half of 2019, and I think we're in this intermediate cycle which will probably last during the second half of 2019, giving us a very likely lower low below 97 on the US dollar, possibly into the end of the year or January next year. Within the intermediate cycles, we see daily cycles lasting for around a couple of months. Within these nearly 300 days, we have 7 cycles on this chart, at least as I see them, and it looks like on average, cycles last for about a month and a half, couple of months. Knowing that, the ongoing daily cycle in the US dollar has been going on for 28 days, which tells me that even if there is some strength in the US dollar over the next 1 or 2 weeks, this strength is not going to be that long-lived. As I mentioned, possibly 1 or 2 weeks going up, poking through that upper range of the Bollinger Bands, which has signaled the daily cycle top several times in the past, and that will send the dollar oscillating down to the lower range of the Bollinger Bands, poking through that, giving us a lower low for the intermediate cycle low below 97, and giving us a regular duration for the intermediate cycle of around half a year, which, given that it started in the end of June this year, the intermediate cycle low might actually take place somewhere in January. That actually might give us a nice push up in gold price, especially into the Chinese New Year, as a lot of people in the East might actually increase their gold purchases. So moving on to gold. Gold has been in this intermediate cycle since May this year. These also usually last for about half a year. Daily cycles in gold also last for about a month and a half, 2 months. In either case, I think gold is in a much better position now to give us an intermediate cycle low over the next couple of weeks compared to a situation a month or a couple of months ago when the 200-day moving average, this purple line, was a little bit too far below the price of gold at that time. Nowadays, the 200-day moving average actually caught up a little bit with the price. The price is only less than 5% higher than the 200-day moving average. As the ongoing short-term daily cycle in gold continues, it started at the very beginning of October, with the average duration of around a couple of months, we might see an intermediate as well as the daily cycle low in gold sometime around the FOMC meeting or the China-US trade talks, that is in the middle of December. FOMC meeting is on the 11th of December. Looking at RSI within the intermediate cycle, RSI also had a chance to cycle back down towards oversold. It's not oversold yet, but 14-day RSI has been as low as 35 in November. And while gold remains in this downtrend channel for now, gold miners actually look somewhat better. This is GDX in front of you, and I don't know how about you, but technically this looks much more like a bullish wedge to me rather than a downward channel. And as you see, yesterday on Friday, GDX actually initiated an attempt to break up out of this bullish wedge. And if it closes above this blue line of 50-day moving average for a couple of days consistently, that would be another indication that possibly the next intermediate cycle advance is about to start. A confident close above the 50-day moving average for GDX would finally finish this streak of last 3 tops being rejected by that 50-day moving average. You will see that over the last couple of days, 2-3 days, looks like Bollinger Bands also want to narrow on GDX. And usually a narrowing of Bollinger Bands means a violent move is coming, either up or down. However, given the technical formation of this bull wedge, I think there is at least 70% chance that if a violent move comes over the next couple of weeks, 1 or 2 weeks, it would be up to break out of this bullish wedge on the miners, possibly in advance of gold actually moving up, as smart traders might expect a bottom in gold and start allocating some of their capital into gold miners. Next, moving on to S&P 500, daily chart of S&P 500 in front of you. We are looking at it from the point of view of gold as well. So just a quick glance, and we see that RSI has been into overbought territory over the last few days, indicating that the stock market is probably already oversold and might dip anytime soon. If that happens over the next couple of weeks with possibly unsatisfactory trade negotiations with China, that might actually help gold tremendously. Another possible turning point for the intermediate cycle in gold might be this FOMC meeting coming up on 11th of December. And we see from this chart that according to the futures market, nearly 96% of investors expect the Fed rate to stay where it is. And over the last week, we see that expectation of higher rates have declined from 7.4% to 4.4%. If this gradual realization of no rate hikes is confirmed by FOMC, if we see a double punch with negative results from trade talks, or if we see a triple punch with stock markets retesting recent highs over the next few weeks, that might be really, really good for gold. And I think there is a 70 to possibly 75-80% chance that gold might bottom over the next couple of weeks based on the duration of the intermediate cycle, in addition to all of the other factors that we've mentioned. So personally, I'm already 70% allocated in my precious metals related portfolio. And currently it's about 1% underwater, but I'm not worried, not one bit. I still have another 30% of this part of the portfolio to allocate. And I think although next couple of weeks might bring gold and GDX a little bit down, nevertheless, the beginning of next year I think is going to be amazing. You know what else is amazing? Having all of you guys subscribe to my channel, share your opinion in the comments, hit that like button, don't forget about the bell notification, and good luck in your trades.